Hi, hello, welcome to Spell Day. We're covering a spell every single day of the year from the 5e PHB plus 3. Those plus 3 spells are homebrew spells. We're at +1 at the moment. You can head back in the playlist to find it. And today's spell is Mordenkainen's Private Sanctum. Fourth level abjuration, casting time of 10 minutes, range of 120 feet, components of verbal somatic material, a thin sheet of lead, a piece of opaque glass, a wad of cotton or cloth, and powdered chrysolite. Duration 24 hours. You make an area within range magically secure. The area is a cube that can be as small as 5 feet to as large as 100 feet on each side. The spell lasts for the duration or until you use an action to dismiss it. When you cast the spell, you decide what sort of security the spell provides, choosing any or all of the following properties. Sound can't pass through the barrier at the edge of the warded area. The barrier of the warded area appears dark and foggy, preventing vision, including dark vision through it. Sensors created by divination spells can't appear inside the protected area or pass through the barrier at its perimeter. Creatures in the area can't be targeted by divination spells. Nothing can teleport into or out of the warded area. Planar travel is blocked within the warded area. Casting the spell at the same spot every day for a year makes this effect permanent. At higher levels, when you cast this spell using spell slot 5th level or higher, you can increase the size of the cube by 100 feet for each slot level above 4th. Thus, you can protect a cube that can be up to 200 feet on one side by using a spell slot of 5th level. Oh no! Why isn't this everywhere? Okay, well, I need to take my own world building back into account, cause man, this doesn't have a cost. And it's not even too high level. This is 4th level, which is, okay, 4th level is a respectable level. A good amount of casters can reach, or at least with not that much, because, okay, it takes 10 minutes, it's a prep spell anyway, but also has a range of 120 feet, so you don't need to be in the center of the area wherever you're casting it. The big one I have is the combo of the spell level, it's not concentration, and and the material component isn't a cost nor consumed. So all you need is the spell slot. Not to mention, it's another permanent effect, which is already great in a spell that has no consumed parts. No consumed material component means all you need is a spell slot every day and the spellcaster present. Especially even in running gritty realism where long rest takes even longer, if you can still get a short rest in, a high enough level spellcaster, namely wizard if we're talking about this, can still get their 4th level spell slot back. Not to mention the dimensions this can reach. Sure, it's a flat cube in whatever state, but it's a minimum 5 feet. Or as large as 100 feet. At the base level! Every level it can go up by another 100 feet in every dimension! Every dimension! You could cover portions or all of cities with this! You could do that! Alright, before talking about its range, what it can cover and how long it lasts, which is permanent, which to be fair, yes, before going too far into this, dispel magic is a thing that exists. But then you also get into the state of like, is it anywhere on the effect range or does it have to be a specific object or the point that was selected as the center of the spell? That could be a way of wording it. But it's a private sanctum. Sound can't pass through it at the edges. That's interesting. It's a silence, but without the actual silent on the inside part, it just stops noise from passing through the barrier, which also accounts for the sound coming from outside in. Barrier appears dark and foggy, blocking perception into it. One, this stops any sight, which is great. So any kind of sight spell and technical blindness or not being able to see the target. But also, because it's only the side of the barrier, you could put this around a room or a chamber and just have it be like a Dark Souls boss room where it has the fog wall. A big one though! Divination sensors cannot appear inside of it, nor can, in the one following it, nor can any creature on the inside be targeted by divination. Which is huge. Huge. That's great. This technically doesn't stop all divination though. Because it also goes into the effects of, you know, like, detect magic on items. That's technically not a creature, and this only makes creatures immune to divination inside of it. And blocks sensors from appearing, but divination, or detect magic is something you're casting on yourself. Nothing can teleport into or out of the area. Which, yeah, backfires for people in there, but stops any kind of teleportation ambush on the inside. And oh boy, planar travel is blocked in the warded area. Those are all fantastic effects. Fantastic, especially for 4th level. Again, no material cost. So when I had heard of the spell or faintly remembered it, I remembered oh yeah, it blocks noise and it can block divination sensors from appearing in it. The other, like half of the effects and the fact you can make this permanent and it's no cost, Oh, have surprised me greatly. Because this would be everywhere. Even in its lowest level cast, you can use a higher level cast to have one effect on an even larger area. But man, like, okay. Yes, dispel magic exists. Yes, someone can come over, hit this with that kind of effect, and it stops. One, you could upcast this to a higher level, so that's a bit more difficult, but yeah, dispel is a thing that exists. Depending on how frequent spellcasters are, might not be too common. Or not common enough, because also, yes, the largest area of this, also because it's 10 minutes, you can do this on a battlefield ahead of time with creatures you know are being summoned, or groups that are notorious for teleportation, because this is such a large area you can affect. Stops any spying ahead of time on a military camp. You could use this in temporary situations plenty, not to mention in spying or hiding, or you're in a city and you're trying to keep things quiet, disguised, to make sure no one can hear you. Because that's the benefit of silence to this extent, is normally silence, it's stopping any kind of noise, great for break-ins, but with this, you'll still be able to talk. So if you want a sneaky discussion in a closet without any guards outside hearing it, you can do this. I mean, it's private Sanctum. If you want a Sanctum to be private, here you go. Even visuals can be blocked. And it's not even like, oh, pick 3 of these effects or pick 2 of these effects. No, it's pick any or all. So you could cancel certain things out if you still want people to be able to teleport in or use planar travel inside of it, and the other effects as well. So you could have it on an area that, yeah, no, this just stops planar travel. So demons and certain things aren't going to be summoning in all the time, unless someone disables it. Which is the biggest threat with any kind of long-lasting magic, especially since this is an effect, not an item. But because it's so cheap, you could recast that. They'll just open a window until someone can, like, in 10 minutes set that back up again. 10 minutes! If you have the spellcaster ready, that is. So, hey, that could be a cool plotline. Some cultist group disabling that, and then you have 10 minutes where the entire town's in chaos, which, by the way, can affect such large locations. You can because you can make this permanent and with no cost, why not? Especially if you're a long-lived race, you can pocket this everywhere. It's just fantastic. Like, this is going to be pockmarked in ruins and portions of cities and areas all over. Because also, yeah, you can make this any dimension. If you have it big and out in the open, yeah, someone can just come by and dispel it, but if you have it in a secret chamber already, especially if there's walls in between it, it's harder for dispel magic to hit that. Or even if they know about it. So, you know, secret sanctum keeps it even more private in a sense. Interrogation rooms, dungeons, vaults. This will be on all vaults. Oh my god, would this be on vaults? Because also, you can't just dispel it by hitting it from a distance if there's no immediate opening. You have to physically get in there first. And if it's up and before they can dispel it, yeah, it's stopping all teleportation on the inside of it. And scrying. Why not? That's how you keep vaults secure. That's how you keep layers secure as well. Not to mention if you use a bunch of small forms. Oh my god, if you have magical spellcasting dragons doing this, yeah, this would be on layers all the time. But no, this would be everywhere. I mean, this is how you keep things secret. This is how you stop divination from just taking everything or being able to see everything. Or being able to just teleport into one location or another. Because, yes, there are other spells that block teleportation. I thought those were the only exceptions, or those were the rules, and setting up various anti-magic areas depending on the setting. But 4th level. That's the big thing from this. That's the big thing from this, is the fact it's 4th level. With everything else tied to it. 10 out of 10, because even though dispel magic is a thing that exists, you can still have it in smaller locations. It doesn't have to be such a big target that can be easily dispelled. It can be behind barriers, inside rooms. And I mean, everything else that I just talked about. I mean, your villains will be using this, your heroes, your allies, your civilizations, your cities, banks, vaults, dungeons, hordes. It's just such a good utility, and not that expensive in the grand scheme of things. 10 out of 10.